Thank you. Roll call. Commissioner Laird,
Present.
Commissioner Morales,
Present.
and the Chair Santiago is present as well. Approval of the minutes for the June 8th, 2022 meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion, accept the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Roll call. Commissioner Laird,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes as well. There's no old business, no tabled matters, so we're going to go into new business. First on the agenda, Cavello Restaurant and Diner, located at 297 South Broadway, is applying for Section 12 wine and malt liquor on premise. If we could have somebody come forward to the podium, state your name.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Brian Corrigan, 122 Chestnut Street, Andover, Mass., here on behalf of the applicant, Cavallo Restaurant and Diner LLC. With me tonight are the principals of Cavallo Restaurant and Diner. To my left here is Amelia Del Rosario Cavallo. She is going to be the designated manager of the liquor establishment, and also her brother Louis Cavallo, who is a longtime restaurateur in the city of Lawrence. I think most people are familiar with Mr. Cavallo's restaurants. He started his first establishment on South Broadway, just a little way down from his current place, which is in the diner at 297 South Broadway. So this is a small establishment. It's diner-style layout. There are, I believe, 5 tables with booths, and then 7 seats along the bar area for service. Mr. Cavallo is planning to construct, if all goes well tonight and before the ABCC, he's planning to construct an outdoor deck for some additional seating during nice weather. Basically, he's been running this place now for several years at the current location, serving food only. Does a very, very good business, mostly breakfast and lunch, but a lot of takeout as well. But he's got a great following and is looking to expand his operations and expand the service and start becoming more of a full-service type restaurant. And of course, with that, in order to be competitive, he wants the ability to serve a glass of beer or a glass of wine. And so we're asking tonight for the commission to approve a wine and malt license. We have been before the zoning board on this matter. I don't know if Mr. McCarthy from the planning office has sent correspondence. I know they're behind on their decisions, but I asked Mr. McCarthy to send either an email or a letter over. We did get complete approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals for the special permit and the variance with their standard conditions. No liquor service after 11 o'clock, service only to dining patrons, so can't be a bar type atmosphere. And with the special permit running with the applicant, not with the property. So with that, I'm certainly, any questions you may have for me or for my clients, certainly ready to answer.
Okay, first question. Did you notify abutters?
Yes, we did. All
Okay,
of us.
and posted in Eagle Tribune?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so we know those two parts. Do they understand they should get tip certified? That's serving alcohol, even a liquor store, you gotta be tip certified and all that, just to recognize.
We've discussed that. I think the plan is once, if we get past tonight's proceeding with good results, while the matter is pending down in Boston, we'll certainly have all that paperwork taken care of before we get a license.
Okay, thank you. I'll go down and see if anyone needs any question, has any questions rather. Officer Cano?
I don't have any other than the usual. Just great food, and keep on doing the great work you're doing.
Director Amano?
All right, that's better, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just, Inspectional Services was present at that zoning board meeting, just to verify. Other than that, just make yourself familiar with Chapter 138, Chapter 140, the rules and regulations of the licensing board. Other than that, you may have Inspectional Services, we'll be happy to help and best of luck.
Commissioner Laird?
A couple of questions. First, what's his hours of operations?
Current or proposed once a license is in hand?
Proposed.
The proposed hours of operation, what are we thinking?
Actually, I have that right in front of me. It's Sunday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to probably maintain those hours, but that's what we'll be seeking the approval for. I think they're going to try to gradually, see how they do, get up and running over time, so.
The second question is, I have no problem with approving this license, provided taxes are paid.
Yeah, well, we can't even get before this board without all tax and water paid, so if there's something recent, there might have been a bill that didn't get paid recently. Do you have something in front of you there?
This is dated 5/2/22. He owes property tax.
Okay. Property tax from May? Gotta get that covered, okay? Yeah. Fine.
So just as long as it's paid, because if he comes back in front of the board to renew his license,
Oh, no,
it's
we'll,
not paid,
yeah.
I guarantee it, I won't vote for it.
Yeah, no, we, at every stage of the process, zoning and this board, if we don't, we can't get the sign-offs, we can't even get the application filed. So I'll make sure that recent bill gets covered.
Yeah, just a point of information for the board, the system that's used, the online portal, it has an approval spot with the tax collector. So before anything is issued, any document is generated, the tax collector would approve on that and verify that information. So it may be outdated, but it will absolutely be verified.
Okay,
No further questions.
thank you.
Commissioner Morales?
No questions.
Okay, at this time, I don't think we have any further questions to ask, so I'll entertain a motion to grant Cabela Restaurant and Diner a license for wine, Section 12 of wine and malt on premise.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Roll call. Commissioner Laird?
Yes.
Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes as well. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Commissioners.
Thank you. Okay, second item on the agenda. Cimarella, known as Sunnyside Diner, is applying for Section 12 all alcohol on premise. If we have someone from Sunnyside, can you come forward, state your name for the record?
Samar Jeha.
Good evening, once again, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Brian Corrigan, 122 Chestnut Street, Andover, Mass., on behalf of the applicant, Samarella LLC. With me tonight is the principal of Samarella LLC, Samar Geha, longtime co-owner and proprietor of Sunnyside Diner, very popular eating establishment in the city, located at 639 Broadway. Mr. Geha recently acquired an adjacent property. If you're looking at the Sunnyside establishment, the commercial building directly to the right, formerly, I believe, a florist and maybe a spa. And so the plan, as indicated on the floor plans that we submitted with the application, is to expand Sunnyside. And as Mr. McCarthy from the zoning board, I think, best described it, the layout seems to be very comparable to the old Cedar Crest. So you're going to have kind of a section of the old school diner, and then the new, brand-new area, which is going to be more of like a dining establishment with a, you know, a bar setup, lounge sort of establishment, and expanding the menu, expanding the hours, and offering a full liquor menu to his patrons. So it's, we're very hopeful. We have been before the zoning board. We did get their full approval once again. With the standard conditions, even though Mr. Geha's diner is open considerable hours into the late night, into the early morning, from a zoning standpoint, the special permit allows us only to serve liquor until 11 o'clock. And liquor can only be served to dining patrons again, and this permit runs with the applicant, not with the land. If he decides to sell, or whatever, someone has to come back and apply again. So we're very hopeful that we can get the approval of the commission tonight, so that Mr. Geha can start executing on his plan to build a nice, brand-new, expanded restaurant establishment. So with that said, any questions certainly of me or Mr. Geha, happy to answer.
Okay, actually, one comment, more comment than a question. He has to be aware that if we do go through with this license right now in ABCC, it's to the establishment, the building that's there right now. If this goes through, at some point, he wants to make his changes, expand, he'll have to come back before the board and apply for expansion of premises through us and the ABCC with the whole detailed plan that's required through the ABCC. So alteration of premises, which is pretty simple, but right now we'll be voting on the existing building and, you know, that license. So going forward, it would be something different.
So, but he already has the plan to expand in place. We've already submitted the plans showing the proposed establishment.
Yeah, and that's been submitted to the ABCC as well, because they,
Oh, no, we haven't submitted anything to ABCC, but,
yeah, no, at some point, it has to be voted on by
Okay.
us, and then, once it goes voted on by us, then ABCC will accept the new blueprints on it. But it has to go to the local.
no, absolutely.
first.
No, that I get. I'm just trying to avoid, because this is a very expensive process with all the publication and filing fees and everything. I'm trying to, we want to get approval for the new and improved Sunnyside restaurant, not the Sunnyside Diner in the existing location. We want to, whatever we have to do, we want to do it in one shot. The plan is to build a new section and have then join the two sections into one comprehensive restaurant, as I said, sort of like a Cedar Crest style establishment. So I thought that was what was reflected in our application. We certainly cited both properties. We notified all the abutters, and the plans reflect both properties, the existing Sunnyside Diner and the new property acquired, not yet redeveloped. So,
I guess my question is more towards, we don't know what the capacity is gonna be. As far as the fire side, it's gonna be over 100, and then they're gonna have to be sprinklered, you know, because once you reach 100, you have to have a sprinkler system.
okay.
You know, insurance-wise, all that stuff. So it's kind of hard to project what's not there right now. You know, we're not seeing what's there right now. And, I mean, we can grant this license all day long. It's easy to come back and change it, you know,
Yeah.
once he's all set to go and it's approved. I mean, it's, I don't see any
So,
hard,
okay.
because capacity is a big thing.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, let's say we were to have the engineer provide all that detailed information on capacity with the plans. Could we table this matter and come back with more detailed information to satisfy the
Yeah,
commission?
that would be perfectly fine. We've granted licenses before with pending businesses, but they had their engineers plan and they had their capacities and, you know, they had everything all set on paper and we were able to look at that. If he's in no hurry to get it done right now, we could, you know, we can come back, we can table and come back and then vote on the full package.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
if I may, just a point of information, the capacity is going to be done in accordance with the building code. It wouldn't be subject to any alteration other than that unless they sought a variance. So it's a pretty definitive number, although it might not be in here. The building commissioner will look at that and verify once the building permit is sought for renovation. So if it pleases the board, the building commissioner can review that, and your decision could be subject to that. It looks like the whole package is here as described as far as what the licensed premises will be, and I think it would be appropriate to have the building commissioner just verify the actual compliance with the code as far as capacity and everything else works, if that pleases the board.
Yeah, I hate to vote on giving capacity, giving a license without knowing a capacity. I think that's very crucial to us. Attorney Corrigan. Did you submit a blueprint to the building commissioner?
No, the plans have not been submitted yet because I don't think the building permit has been applied for yet. Haven't started construction yet. So no, we're trying to get all the municipal approvals before breaking ground and so on and so forth. I think, again, I appreciate Director Almano's clarification on this, but I'd rather, if we could, table the matter for a month. I'll
Okay,
meet with Director Almano and the building commissioner. We'll put a detailed report together on occupancy and maybe any regulations that may apply based upon the proposed occupancy, and then submit that with.
Okay, I think that's fair enough, so I don't think we need to go any further. I'll entertain a motion to table.
Ask a question. This is the old Bronx Diner in Waglands, right?
Yes.
That place has been in business for years, and in fact, when I was a kid, I used to go there. He's looking for a license right now, just an alcohol license for his premises right now, too, right?
Not really, Mr. Laird. You know, the plan is to do this all in one shot. Because again, this application process is sort of is costly, and we don't want to do it in a piecemeal fashion. If for some reason we come back next month and there's some issues with what we submit, maybe Mr. Gayha will decide at that point, okay, I'll take the license for my existing diner establishment. But I think what we'd like to do is satisfy the commission that you have all the information you need to approve us for the proposed expanded restaurant.
All right.
Okay, so we'll go with that. I'll entertain a motion to table this until next month, and then we can get it right back up here and vote on the full package.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion to table, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Roll call, Commissioner Laird,
Yes.
Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes as well, so we'll see you next month. We'll be posting the dates, we'll figure that out, and then we'll notify you when we're gonna be here. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, third item on the agenda, La Cava Fine Cuisine and Spirits located at 2022 Union Street. Remanded matter to the License Board from the ABCC decision. If you state your name for the record, please.
Mark Tremp.
Okay, we received that notification from the ABCC, and what are you looking for tonight? Is it a reinstatement?
No, I had already sold the business, so I was
Okay,
under
so-
the impression if I didn't renew that it was just kind of,
You have a couple of options. You can either renew the license and then seek a transfer of license to the new business,
Okay.
or you can request forfeit your license. It's up to you, and that person can go through the process of getting their license through the regular channels.
Okay. So when I renew, that's, I just have to essentially pay and I receive my license back? Is that what it
You would
was?
have to pay, basically, that's it. We've read the ABCC decision. We have to take a vote on it. And actually, I have a question. Is your name still on the lease?
No.
No. So that kind of changes everything.
Mr. Chair, just as a matter of procedure, it may be appropriate for you to vote based on the recommendations of the ABCC. And then if the applicant is interested in reapplying for that license, he can submit it with the updated information. And of course, you can make a decision, just like you do with all the other annual license renewals, whether you're going to renew it based on that information.
Okay, so we can, I guess, looking at it that way, we can vote on that, and the license will be reissued basically for the property under your name.
All right.
And then at that point, and I know that there's an interested party, and I spoke to the attorney for the party, and I know that you're seeking to transfer the license. So if anybody has any questions, I'll start with Officer Cano.
I don't have any questions.
Director Amano,
No questions here.
Commissioner Morales,
No questions.
Commissioner Laird.
No questions.
Okay, this time I'll entertain a motion to grant La Cava Restaurant, 2022 Union Street, to re-grant their all alcohol license pending the payment of fees.
So the name that you called, I think that was the old name prior. I think it should have been Max Trey. I just wouldn't. The La Cava Fine Cuisine was the name prior before I filed for a new license. And then Okay, yeah, no, I think the most previous one was the Max Trey Inc., though. I just want to make sure if there's no wrong names that,
Yeah, no, that would be in the records anyway,
Okay.
so we'll go with that. So I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Roll call, Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Laird,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes as well. So you can go up to inspectional services, pay the dues, the fees, the back fees, whatever it is, and then you'll grant your license, and then we'll see you forward for the transfer license.
all right, thank you, guys. That's it, right?
Yes, it is. Okay, we're gonna skip over number 4. We're gonna move that down to the last items. So right now, we're gonna, number 5, Poppy Supermarket located at 107 South Union Street, which is applying for a common vic license. Can you just state your name for the record, please?
Good evening. My name is Diomedes Infante.
Is this your first business in the city, sir?
No,
Okay, and this is a new business though, right?
it's no business.
Okay, I don't see any problems with this at all, so I really don't have any questions. Maybe the hours?
I'm trying to work hard, so I'm trying to go like 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
So you're
Yes.
talking to midnight?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a long day, but, so I'm gonna go right down the line over here. Officer Cano,
I don't have any questions.
Director Amano,
Just be familiar with Chapter 140 and the rules and regulations of the licensing board. Other than that, best of luck to you.
Commissioner Morales,
No questions.
Commissioner Laird.
I got a question to the board. As far as the serving liquor, right?
No, this is.
It's just coming here.
I read the wrong one, I'm sorry. I have no question.
So this is just strictly just serving coffee, right?
Go for now.
Yeah,
For now,
so
yeah.
a coffee house.
For now,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to grant a common vic license to Poppy Supermarket.
I make that motion.
Okay,
Is that a second? Okay, so we got a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And the chair votes aye as well. Roll call, Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Laird,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes as well. Good luck with that, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna do, actually Belmont right now, because I don't see anybody from the city for the other one. So we'll do Belmont, we're gonna do both of them consecutively. Let me just see which one we're gonna do first here. Okay, so we're gonna do the second incident, which is, a stabbing. I believe that's what it is. Is that the second incident?
Commissioner, I believe that the only one pending will be the other one.
Yeah, we have to, go through this because it's on the minutes, so we have to go and on this. And, but we're not gonna really get into this one because, we've been notified by Officer Cano that this actually happened outside the premises.
Yes,
So I'm gonna
Correct.
entertain a motion to dismiss this one.
thank you,
seeing that it
Commissioner.
happened outside the
I'm
premises.
Attorney Howard Berger with offices at 93 Main Street in Andover, and I appear for Belmont.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I'll entertain a motion to dismiss that one, seeing it happened outside the premises.
Make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to dismiss. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Roll call, Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Laird,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes as well. Okay, the second item on here is for underage drinking. I'm gonna have Officer Cano read the police report, and then we'll move on from there, and if you have any questions, or anybody else has any questions, we'll address them at that time.
Thank you.
Officer Cano?
Good evening. The following is a report that was handed to me, and I'll read it out. The report number is 22003831 for 2 Amesbury Street. On Tuesday, May 24th, at approximately 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was working from 8:30 to 4:30, assigned to the Community Policing Division as Business Liaison Officer. I was made aware by Lieutenant Cirillo by way of an investigation. The report number is 22002915, regarding two young females under the age of 21 that were allowed into the establishment and did consume alcoholic beverages during normal business hours in violation of the state and municipal liquor laws. The establishment is Belmont Date Inc., DBA Blue Lounge and Grill, located at 2 Amesbury Street in Lawrence. This is reportedly owned and operated by Aljanes Cepeda, and the initial date of the incident was documented as Sunday, April 17th, 2022. The victims reported the incident to the Lawrence Police Department on Monday, April the 18th, 2022. Due to the extended nature of the incident, which was investigated by Detective Carlos Garcia and Detective Scott McCabe, a report will not be available for viewing. But basically, this is in regards to underage parties that drank at the establishment.
Thank you, Officer King.
Excuse me, I'm kind of confused. This happened on May 24th.
You're going to do wristbands?
Reported on April 17th. It doesn't make sense.
The incident took place So the original incident was April 17th. The victim, or the parties, reported to the police department the incident on the next day. So from Sunday to Monday, the police were advised on Monday April 18th, and I was advised of this incident May the 24th.
So, Officer Cano, you were not working on the date of the incident?
That's correct. I was not working. An initial officer took a report. They followed up with that initial incident, and then they referred the matter to me. And I, because of the licensing issue, I created this report that we have present regarding the violation.
Okay, excuse me, Attorney, I didn't catch your last name.
Attorney Howard Berger, my office is at 93 Main Street in Andover, Commissioner. May I inquire of Officer Cano?
Yes, go right ahead. Just be aware that he was not the officer.
I
at the
understand,
incident,
that's
so.
some confusion, but thank you for your report, Officer. When you refer to the victims, are you referring to the alleged underage people?
That's all I'm referring to, is the
Yeah.
underage parties. That's all I'm referring to.
Am I to understand they subsequently self-reported it? There was no one observed them drinking, and they subsequently self-reported it? Or-
I've spoken to the detective involved that did an investigation, and they stated they do have video of the parties being served alcohol.
Oh, okay, okay. And the parties then voluntarily went to the police station and reported their offense? Is that what I'm understanding? Or were they called into the police station?
Those parties reported an incident that was subsequently, that involved other issues, but what my part is in regards to licensing is the alcohol.
But the other issues didn't involve Belmont. They involved the parties and other individuals, is what you're saying?
Yes, two separate incidents.
I understand. Okay, so
So we're just addressing minors
I understand.
being served on the premises.
I was a little confused, but Officer Cano kindly explained it for me, and that's great. So, Commissioner, if there's video and it was observed by the detectives, we don't contest the fact that a mistake was made, a error that happens in the restaurant and bar business frequently. Sometimes it's caught. In this case, it was picked up, and we put forward the fact that as a result of this mistake, Mr. Cepeda, who's here to explain, if the board wishes to hear, the remedial measures he's going to take to prevent further incidents. Increased bouncer, wristbands, more stringent checking. But I'm not going to stand in front of this board and say an incident didn't. It happened. I mean, and he regrets it, and he asked for some consideration from the board based on the fact that he's going to take strenuous measures going forward to prevent anything of this nature. I don't know about the other incident, and that's obviously
Yeah,
how it
no,
came.
no, that's perfectly fine. My only concern is he's been before the board before. He's served suspension before, and he's been in front of the board before. He served suspension before.
Yeah.
We've actually reduced the suspension before, and there was supposed to be measures taken to reduce any further findings. And he already has security at the door. That I know from firsthand from going into the establishment
Right.
with the police department and the ABCC, just random checks. And we've seen the security at the doors. Generally, when we walk in, everything is fine. Been a little, sometimes they have the bottle service on the table, which shouldn't be happening anyway, and they're
We've
aware of
discussed
that.
that, and he's fully aware that that
Yeah,
won't happen.
and we've been mentioning that for quite a few years, and we still see it on occasion. As far as underage drinking, I think this is something that we'll address, and the other issue, I don't know what it is. I don't pretend to know what it is, so we'll let the police deal with that. So we're just gonna address the underage drinkers, and there's two minors. I don't even know their age. It didn't state their age.
It didn't, and just to let you know that we did have conversations regarding what we could do to kind of minimize this situation going forward, and we did speak at length, trying to come up with creative ideas that's going to help him not have this incident happen and occur again. One of the things that they did mention to me is that Their nightclub is one of the few nightclubs that actually has bottles that are plastic, and that in itself helps deter the nature of having some kind of object being thrown that's hard. So they're trying to work at trying to mediate the issues as it comes forward, but wristbands were the other things that were suggested so that an accident like this wouldn't occur, and at least they can address it properly. So those are the issues that we were discussing previously.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I believe the other incidents were not related to underage. Am I correct? Because I represented them on the suspension incident. That wasn't related to underage.
It was like 2 years ago. I'm not quite sure what it was. Yeah.
It was some time ago. So all I can say in mitigation, Commissioner, and to the board is, this is not, as you know firsthand, an easy business, and Mrs. Zapater is there, managing, watching out, making sure everything's okay, and he's going to redouble his security efforts now, based on this incident. It happened, though. I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't happen. It happened.
Can I ask a question on the security, the current security?
Yep.
Are they from a bonded company?
They're from a company, and I have the head, which is privately. I hire him privately.
Okay, because we've always seen the same person there when we've gone in. So I didn't know if he was from a private security firm and bonded or not. So that was just a question, just to clear that up. I'm going to just go down the line again, see if anybody has any questions. Officer Cano?
This time, I just wanted to reiterate the fact that, security and obviously the security cameras are very important, as well as just maintaining a location where your customers, as well as your employees, have the best safety in mind. So it's important to make sure that these issues try to get rectified so that it won't happen again. So that's pretty much it.
Director Romano?
I have nothing to add, thank you.
Commissioner Morales?
For just a point of clarification, is this the first incident in regards to underage drinking that happens in this establishment?
I've represented the bar for some period of time. I believe it is the first.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Commissioner Laird?
He hasn't been here in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah, more than 2 years ago, and I actually represented him, but I can't remember the issue at the time. But it was not underage, that I know.
This is the first time for drinking, right?
Yes.
He has security,
Yes, the security chief is here, yes.
and he wears the uniform or something says staff on it or something else?
Yes, yes.
About the other incident, the stabbing?
I mean,
Yeah, that's gone.
Okay.
They've
Oh,
dismissed
okay.
that. Yeah, no, they dismissed it.
I just want to make sure he's doing his job to protect him,
Yeah, and
And,
we,
you know,
and
By law, he should be checking, if he's got any questions, he should be checking their IDs as they come in.
they do take this seriously. They're going to take it more seriously going forward, sir. And for some reason, there are slip-ups, and this was a slip-up, but it's a learning experience for the bar, and they're going to redouble all their efforts to prevent this across the board.
We're all human, we all make mistakes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think at this time, I'll recommend 1 week suspension, but we'll forego the suspension and a $1,000 fine on the common vic just for serving the minors.
1,000?
$1,000 fine
Okay, fine.
for under the common vic. And so it'd be a 1 week suspension, but we'll withdraw that and then a $1,000 fine.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay,
You
so
pay the
I'll
fine for
entertain that.
inspectional services?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
But I'll entertain that as a motion first. We have to vote on
Okay.
it.
That will be in his record though, right?
That's correct.
I'll go along with it, provided he understands the next time he comes in here, it's gonna be harder.
We understand, we've discussed it, and he's taking affirmative steps to reduce the likelihood of this incident. As a board, you probably see this frequently or somewhat frequently, and it's a hard thing to deal with, but Belmont is gonna deal with it more aggressively.
Okay, that's good.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second for a 1-week suspension, and we'll withdraw that, and $1,000 fine under the common vic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. So you'll pay that through inspectional services, you'll pay that fine, and then we'll be all set.
Thank you,
Okay,
Commissioner.
have
Thank
a
you
good
for
one.
your help.
Okay, last item on the agenda is hours of operation, extension of hours for common vic and alcohol licenses. I don't see anyone from the city here representing.
I can speak on this, Mr. Chair, on behalf of the mayor.
Okay, first I got a question. Is the police chief, is he in favor of this? I have not heard anything, I haven't seen anything in writing if the police chief favors this, because I know it affects the police department more than anybody else, because they're the ones that have to deal with all the madness at night.
I can address some of the discussion that I've heard with the police chief and the mayor, and of course, Officer Cano may or may not have more information.
On that note, no, I have not been in the discussions on this.
Okay, thank you. So, Director Amano, if you can speak on this item?
Thank you, Board. Again, Director of Inspectional Services, Mike Amano, speaking on behalf of the administration with a proposal to extend hours of operation for essentially restaurants and other establishments that have Chapter 40 common victualler license. Currently, restaurants and establishments that sell alcohol for on-premise consumption are permitted to stay open 2 a.m. on Saturday, Friday night going into Saturday, and 1 a.m. on all other days. I think this board traditionally has limited the time of operation, hours of operation for restaurants, for the most part at 11 o'clock. I don't know that it was always consistent, although this board has been consistent. Your previous board members may not have had the same limitations on some restaurants. What the administration is looking to do here is really take into the fact that our community enjoys late-night dining more than ever, and it's an appropriate time to sort of level the playing field for all business owners. So currently, dining, as you know, can be a fierce competition anywhere, including the city of Lawrence. They're competing against food trucks more than ever. We're competing against COVID-19. We're competing against an unpredictable economy, and also competing against restaurants who serve alcohol, and they also have fine dining. So to be a restaurant without alcohol service, who's labeled just as a restaurant, it's not an easy business to keep running with all these unfair competitions. So the mayor is, again, seeking to really bring in business equity to the city of Lawrence. As you know, he's very passionate about small business, and we all want our businesses to succeed. We want to invite people from other communities into our city so that our economy can thrive and give our workers or our residents the opportunity for more jobs, later hours, opportunity to make more money, all which are very difficult when hours of operations are limited. So in an effort to do that, the mayor and the administration's proposal is to extend the restaurants to a time where they would be equal to those serving alcohol, and also give them the opportunity to do delivery service to vehicles for an additional hour so that they would be equal to things like food trucks. So there was some discussion, to your point, Mr. Chair, with Chief Vask, who is, I'm paraphrasing here, but had some concerns about, same concerns that this board and the city has had for many years, about gathering after nightclubs get out. It's something that still is, of course, possible with our food trucks, but in an effort to curb those concerns, I know Chief Vask and the mayor had discussions about, in fact, closing the doors, making sure they were closed at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, the same time that nightclubs get out, and then allowing them to just simply deliver the food directly to the vehicles if people wanted to do that. Again, it doesn't mean every restaurant will take advantage of these hours. It's just something that we would like to afford the opportunity to these businesses so that they have that equal opportunity to thrive as some of their counterpart businesses have.
Thank you, Director Morano. I'll reserve my comments for the end, so Commissioner Morales, do you have any questions regarding this?
Did we take into consideration, and when I say we, did the city bring in small business owners, other individuals to weigh in on this idea?
The mayor and the administration has a very good relationship with small business owners, including many restaurants. I myself have met with the mayor as a group of restaurants. These issues definitely come up. They are struggling because of everything that we just spoke of, and of course could really use something like this as a boost to their business.
Another question, and as we're working to make sure our communities stay safe at all hours, did the city also take into consideration getting the opinion of nonviolence groups in the community that could be present in those hours to make sure people are getting fed and not drunk driving? And so I do want to know if at all the police department and any other community partners were a part of these discussions, because it would be changing the nightlife of the community, I'd say in a good way, because it would give folks the opportunity to have food when they're leaving night establishments. So is that something that was talked about?
Again, I don't want to pull Officer Cano if he doesn't have any additional comments on it. I know the police are very active with these discussions with these groups. I don't have all of that knowledge. I can tell you there were many considerations. Safety was a consideration. Some points that were brought up is sometimes having a restaurant or having the ability just to slow down and have a meal before you leave, or to even have the opportunity to leave a club early and stop drinking and go to a restaurant of your choice that is now open a little bit later is an option that makes, for a safer environment.
Thank you. That's all from my end.
Commissioner Laird?
Yeah, I'd like to say a couple of things. First, it's about time we get on a level playing ground. Boston's been serving until 2 o'clock in the morning, and all of our young people are going to Boston, and they get drunk and driving on the way back. I mean, it's going to be extra work for the police department. We can put a burden on them, but it's also going to take a burden off our roads for our safety of our kids. So it's about time we did something like this.
Okay, my one concern... Oh, go ahead, Officer Cano, sorry.
I did want to mention that, although I haven't spoken directly with the chief, I know that he's been in talks with administration, so I didn't want to speak for him, but I have been in conversation with the mayor about this, and also with small business owners that were affected in a negative way because they weren't allowed and they weren't serving alcohol, as well as the ones that were. So for the most part, it's been a positive reaction. They have been looking forward to it, and I think it's something that we need to, as a city, consider because of the amount of people and the businesses, and we're a growing community, and I think that we're going in a positive direction. Although we have our moments of things that happen in a negative way, but I think that the positive things outweigh that.
Okay, thank you. Going back to my comments, I say 90% of this, I'm in favor for, minus the last sentence, the additional hour, stay open an additional hour for curbside food delivery to vehicles. I have a big concern because there's going to be multiple cars lined up at these establishments. And they're going to be coming out of drinking establishments, and they're going to be parked outside, and they're not going to stay in their car. They're going to be gathering around, there's going to be music, and as much as anybody says that we're going to control it, it's going to be impossible for the police to control if they have a situation somewhere else. So...
I can answer to that if I may, Commissioner. So one of the things that we were discussing was the fact that it would have to be an item that would be pre-purchased. There would be no money exchanged. They would know the information of the vehicle and the owner. They'd have contact information for the person who's ordering the food. So there would be basically the vehicle that's in front of the business has already pre-ordered, like an Uber or Uber Eats, things like that, that you can pre-order right online. So it's not something that you're gonna go and the person's gonna exchange money for food.
So you can't go in your vehicle and just pull up and,
That's not the plan. The plan is that you have to pre-order, and everything about the vehicle, the owner, whoever's ordering, would be known beforehand.
okay, so I would say that, even as good as that sounds, there has to be a better way to communicate what happens for violations of that. You can't just say, well, you granted it, and they violated it, so now what do you do? I mean, there has to be a set of rules that they're gonna need to follow, and this doesn't list any set of rules, you know, and other than saying we're gonna have curbside food. I mean, I just think that doesn't go into detail for violations. You know, that's my one concern out of all this, and I agree, it's time that we caught up, you know, with the other clubs to 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, and, you know, let the restaurants stay open so they can compete with everybody. I just disagree with the additional hour, and that's just my personal opinion. I would vote in its entirety, minus the last section of Article 2 here. I would prefer that not being there until there's a set of rules and violations and what fines. It just, a one-paragraph sentence, just, it's hard to vote on that without seeing a background for it.
If I could add something, Mr. Chair. Just on that point, that same discussion has been had with the administration, with the chief of police. At some point, we do have this competition anyhow. We have food trucks that don't have any of these rules who can get out of their vehicles. We also have drive-throughs, and it's my understanding that there hasn't been too many issues, if any, with drive-throughs because they tend to stay in the vehicle. I think the mayor's proposed policy with making sure that business owners take the license plate is a strong deterrent, and it may actually pull from some of the other competitors, so there's less crowds at food trucks and less crowds in a drive-through. So it would spread not only the competition, but avoid those crowds, have something like a license plate number that identifies who went to that place. Certainly, all these things are being considered. We're growing. It's not a perfect system. We're getting better and better every day. Certainly, this licensing board can consider more regulation in the future and how to make it better. But I think today this is a great start, and it's a start that's desperately needed, including that additional hour, just because of the food truck competition and the drive-through competition that's out there.
I do want to add for just safety measures. I am a resident here. I spend a lot of time here. And from my perspective as a commissioner and a resident of Lawrence, I definitely don't want to leave my city to get food after I leave an establishment here. And I know that other individuals would probably feel the same. And I think it's very important that young adults, especially young folks that are going out, have the option. Selfishly, I don't want the young people in my community to be driving past any of our borders into Andover or Methuen when they could stay safe. They know the cops that are policing them, and they know the community that's serving them. So I think that we should consider this as a commission for safety reasons and for also to keep our community here in the late hours. And, you know, I'd like to say maybe folks are not going out, but our community only continues to keep getting younger. So let's create the safety for them to have access to our city.
So if I may, another point to this, right, is not every business is going to choose to stay open an additional hour. I think that some businesses may, but if you look at the point of, if you think of that only the food trucks, for instance, are going to stay open, that means there's more people at the food trucks versus having more diversity with other businesses that may be open and they have a better opportunity of getting their food fit faster. So it's just one point. It doesn't mean, you know, it's foolproof that it's 100%, but at least it gives a little bit of opportunity for everyone to be on a level playing field. And I definitely understand your concerns, Chairman. It's just, I think that we're at a point where we need to make a decision, And hopefully, we can amend and work at whatever needs to be done to make it better.
Okay, Commissioner Laird?
Yeah, I'm looking at this two different ways. Food trucks are a problem late at night. Crowds hanging around there, gang members hanging around the food trucks. This way, maybe some decent people will go to the restaurant, get their food, and get out of there, go home. That's the way I'm looking at it, okay? Second way, we can always pass the hours in that additional hour, review it after 90 days, and if it doesn't work, get rid of it.
Okay, I don't think there's any need for any further discussion, so I'm gonna entertain a motion of your choosing. I know that I'm not a fan of the additional hour, so whichever way you wanna make a motion and a second on it, and we'll take a vote.
Let's make a motion to review the additional hour after 90 days and accept the remaining hours of operations. Is that clear? Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to review additional hour after 90 days and the remaining,
I'm sorry, just a point of clarification. So is your motion to accept the changes as proposed by the mayor, including the additional hour? However, you're open-minded to review that after a 90-day period to see if it has worked out as expected?
Yeah, we expect the police after 90 days to see how it works. If there's any problems, then let us know.
Thank you.
okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes no. Roll call. Commissioner Morales,
Yes.
Commissioner Laird,
Yes.
and the chair votes no. Okay, moving on. So we're gonna be looking for next meeting date. Actually, let me take a roll call on that last one. Did I take a roll call?
Yeah, I think you just didn't mention the motion passed.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we're looking for a date for the next one. We're gonna just do one meeting in July. That's a big time for vacation for everyone. So we're gonna do one meeting in July, and I'm gonna see if we can make it for the third Wednesday in July. Let me just take a look. That would be the 20th, if everybody's available. If not, we can go to 27th. Okay, everyone's available for the 20th, so July 20th, 6 o'clock. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Have a good night, everyone.